Hi, this is the KASC Weekly Swim Meet Setup. Today we're going to learn how to download the meet entries from Swim Central, pop them into Meet Manager, and then print out all of the program and lane timer sheets and so forth. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the instructions. We use these instructions to help us remember, and it'll help me structure this video as well. So the instructions have got two parts. The first bit is column 1, which has got a high-level steps of all the things you need to do, and column 2, which has got the detailed steps in case you can't remember. So once you get really good at it, you just use column 1 so you don't miss any steps. This tells you how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is correct the people who forgot to complete their order. So we click on Swim Central and we log into Swim Central. You can open it up as usual, and this is the same thing that you use to do your weekly swim entries. So I think just log in with your username and password, and then if you've been given admin access to do this, which you obviously need to be able to do it, you will have this new thing down here which says Entity Management. So you click on Entity Management, you enter in the password, and you click Confirm, and that takes you in. Now you see here the list of entities, as in clubs that you can manage. Obviously we can only manage one, but if you were the area coordinator you would be able to manage many of them. Now we get this pop-up sometimes here because we've used the same password, the default password that we were given at the beginning, to all clubs. So don't worry about that, and that may not be there in the future. Okay, so we want to manage the meet for KASC, so we click on KASC. Now I'm just going to flick back to the instructions. So what it said is go to KASC, click on the entity which was KASC, enter the PIN, entity management we had, enter the PIN, and then click on KASC. Now the next thing we want to do is click on purchases. Alright, so what we're trying to do here is people who didn't press pay at the end, or they didn't press the last button. So we click on purchases over here, and then it says filter by pending. Okay, so we're going to go here, and the purchase status is payment pending. Alright, so there's no one who hasn't completed their payment between the 7th of December to today. So that's fine, and then we'll check on approval pending, and then no records to display there either. Okay, so everyone's done everything they needed to do, so we don't need to do the remainder of these steps. So the next thing we want to do is download the entries. Alright, so what we need to do is go back to KASC. This time we need to go to Events, and then we click on today's event. The event that we're trying to work with. Normally you'll see a list of the future events, but because when I'm recording this I have only set up this week's meet, and we'll do all the other ones later, but not part of this weekly meet setup. So we'll do the meet that we're trying to set up. Okay, so here we are in the event home, and we want to download the entries. So we click here on download entries, or export entries I should say, and that will download all of the entries that people have entered. Okay, so let's go back to here. So what we need to do is we need to go to Team Manager now. Alright, so we want to get the best times from only the last 10 meets. So what we have to do is enter everyone in all of the events for this meet in Team Manager. Okay, I'll explain what this is exactly doing in a moment. So we're going to open up Team Manager down here. Now Team Manager has got all of the results from all of our members for all time. So what we need to do is get all of the meets, the entries. Sorry, I'll explain that in a second. All right, so we need to log in. So we always log in with admin and single user. These other options are if multiple people were using the same file. All right, it always comes up with checking version, and because we're using this Team Manager with version 7, which expired a while ago, it has a few issues when it starts up. So you just click OK with that. Okay, so now we are in Team Manager. We want to go and find the meet that we're trying to get. I'll enter everybody in, and if you see, they're in reverse order, and you'll see the meet is here at the top of the list. See, the white ones are ones that have not been run yet. Those are the old ones here in blue. Okay, so we click on that meet, and then we go entries, and we want to enter by event. Okay, now I don't actually have all of these steps in here, but we just go through there. So I clicked on meet, and then I selected the meet. Then I do entries by event. Okay, and the next thing I need to do is select KASC in the swim for team field. So swim for team here, and we choose KASC. Okay, so all the entries that I export here will be the swimmers will be marked as part of the KASC team. Not really that important, but to know, but it's something you need to do. All right, then we select each event and tick enter all. And you'll see sometimes we get warnings about too many entries. So we've clicked that, and now we're going to click enter all. And what this does is enter everybody into everyone that's in Meet Manager, even old people that don't even swim anymore, into the meet. And the only purpose of this is to get their fastest time from 10 meets ago. So we previously set this meet up to get times only from the last, from a particular date. I can show you that later where that is. All right, so we've entered everyone into the 50 free, and now we enter everybody in the 100 free, and then 25 free. Okay, and we just keep going through. Now at some point it's going to say, hang on, everyone's entered into too many events, because you're only allowed to enter into I think a maximum of 6 events or something. So there it says, okay, 404 swimmers have exceeded their maximum entries. We don't care about that. We just want to get everyone in there so that we have the times. Okay, so I'm just clicking OK. I can actually use the F5. That's it. Okay, don't worry about that. But you can see here, you can press F4 and F5 to move backwards and forwards. So I can use my keyboard, which you can't see, but I'm pressing F4 and I'm pressing F5 there. Okay, anyway, let's close that. Okay, so now we need to export the entries. So in Team Manager, we're still in Team Manager, go File, Export Meet Entries. So we go back to the Home menu and we go File, Export, Meet Entries. Okay. Sometimes this runs a little bit slow. Hopefully it's not going to crash on me. It'd be really annoying inside a recording. All right, so it usually defaults to the next meet in the list that hasn't been run yet. So that's the 9th of January, and we always put our entries into the entry folder there. It defaults to that. Okay, I'm just waiting for the entry. Okay, that's exported, and you can see where it put it, so you need to remember that. Okay, we click close, and we go back to our meet instructions. Okay, so now we need to go to Meet Manager. So Meet Manager, okay, so we're going to open Meet Manager down here. All right, so Meet Manager just has one meet in it, and you have to open different files for different meets. So remember, Team Manager's got every event, every meet that we've ever had, and every athlete we've ever had, and all their results. Okay, again, you get this login screen there's no password for it. You always log in as admin and single user. Okay, and therefore it will open the last database that was opened. Okay, if it often reminds you to back up databases, we don't need to back up today's database because we haven't actually done anything to it yet. So we're going to click no. Okay, it just does that to remind you. All right, now there's this Meet Mobile thing which we don't use, so we always say not interested in publishing for Meet Mobile, and go from there. Okay, so we want to import the Meet entries. Now, just to be sure that if this wasn't the right Meet, you go File, Open, and then we go to this directory here, which is the Swim Meets Season Current, and we find the Meet that we want to enter, that we want to set up, I should say. So this is the Meet. I can open that. Oops, sorry, I double-clicked it. I should not have done that. I should have single-clicked it and clicked Open. And it says it's in use. I think that is because I've already got it open. Okay, so it's already open there, so we don't need to do that. All right, so I'm back to here where I want to import the entries. So File, Import, Entries. Okay, now I need to find the file that I exported before. Now this, remember, I exported from Swim Central, and I also exported from Team Manager. So the Swim Central has got all the people who wanted to enter and who entered in there, and the Team Manager one has just got all the times in it. So first I need to upload the times. All right, so when I downloaded the times from Swim Central, it put it in this folder, in the Downloads folder. All right, so I'm just going to show you where it is, but it's in the Downloads folder here, right? So I'm going to go back to Meet Manager, and I want to import that file. And there it is there, the 9th of January ones. So I'm going to move it into the entries folder so that we've always got them in the same place. And you'll see in here, because I've sorted by date modified, I've got the two here that I exported. The first one here is the one I did first, which was from Swim Central, and the second one is the one that I did from Team Manager. Okay, so let's import this one. I always sort by date modified. It just helps me find the latest files, because otherwise you've got to find it by the name, and that gets confusing sometimes and you pick up the wrong one. Okay, so I'm importing. Now the thing that I always do is I go, okay, this is the Meet name inside the file. So Meet 8, 9th of January 2021. Okay, and then I look here and I go, okay, this is the file that I selected, which is the 9th of January as well. So I'm just comparing all of these, right? And then I look here and this is the Meet that I've got open in Meet Manager. Imagine I had last year's Meet in here and I was trying to import this week's entries. That would be the wrong thing to do. So it's just a quick check you can do. You check this, and you check this. And that just makes sure that you don't mess it up. Too often you accidentally pick up the wrong file, and then you would have last year's one and try and put it in next week's Meet and vice versa. Okay, right, so I don't want to update times only. That's ticked on, I'll explain that in a minute. So I should have these two. No, don't worry, don't need that. Okay, so all I need is this one ticked, and I click OK. Okay, 45 athletes I've entered this week, and I click OK there. All right, so now all of the athletes are entered in, and only the people who are swimming this weekend are entered in there. Okay, so I don't need to do that, I was just showing you there. So the next thing we do is we check where we're up to. Okay, so it says remove the V from the second claim member athletes. Now this used to happen if we accidentally set up the meet with a particular setting with Swim Australia rather than Ku-ring-gai ASC. So I just need to go to the athletes and check to make sure there is no V, in brackets V for visitor, after their name. So they're not there. So that's fine, we don't have to do that. If it's after the 1st of March, then we need to age up the athletes. What happens is, let's just ignore that. So it's not after the 1st of March, but if it were, then we would go athletes,